Hello all. Today we are going to see about the internal combustion engines, its classifications and components in the course automotive systems. So engine is a component or it is otherwise called as a machine which is used to convert the heat energy into a mechanical work. You can see the animated image on the screen. Here you can see that red color thing, the engine. If you see inside the engine, there are two valves, that is two passages where the entry of the fuel and the exit of the burned fuel. So this here the IC engine means that combustion takes place inside the engine, and you can see here this engine, uh, the heat energy, because of the heat energy, the piston is forced to move to the bottom dead center. So this is how the heat energy is converted into a mechanical energy. So the heat energy here is converted into a reciprocating motion, and this reciprocating motion of the piston is converted into a rotary motion by the crankshaft, and thereby it is given to the wheels through the gearbox according to the desired ratio of the speed. So engine is a component where it is used as a primary component of an automobile, because nowadays electric vehicle came into picture, but the olden days only the engine is the thing which is used to supply power to the vehicle. So this engine which converts mechanical work by burning the fuel. So fuel, heat energy is converted into a mechanical energy. So the heat energy is supplied by the engine for conversion by means of burning the fuel. The fuel may be a petrol or a diesel or a compressed natural gas or a liquefied petroleum gas. So these are the classification of an engine. About the combustion, you can see how the combustion in the image. So here the engine where the combustion is takes place outside the engine. That is, the furnace is kept outside. You can see this furnace. This furnace where the coal is loaded and it is used to supply heat energy. This heat energy is used to convert the water that is present in the tank, and it is superheated into a steam. This superheated steam is later on sent to the piston for the forward and the backward action, so that that forward and the backward reciprocating motion is obtained. So this is a wonderful example for the external combustion engine. So you can see how this is working. So once the water is heated and it is converted into a superheated steam, that inlet and the outlet valve is opened by a mechanism, so that the steam pushes on the forward and the backward, so that the reciprocatory motion is obtained. So this is an example for external combustion engine, which means that the heating takes place outside the engine. So you can see the example of the internal combustion engine. There are two passages. You can see here the first passage is about the inlet passage, so that the fresh charge of fuel is inside. Then the compression, that the both the passages are kept closed, and the piston is compressing the fuel, and there is a mechanism there which is used to produce spark. This is called spark plug. So after compression, spark is obtained, so that the power is that heat energy is converted into a mechanical energy. This mechanical energy is used to reciprocate the engine, and then the reciprocatory motion is converted into the rotary motion. So finally, the burnt gas is sent out by the exhaust valve. So this is how the working of an internal combustion engine. So generally the engines are classified according to the stroke. That is the first thing. So there are two strokes and there are four stroke. So two stroke engine nowadays are not manufactured, because they have, though they have more power, they are very less in fuel efficient. So very less fuel efficiency. So that is why nowadays all the bikes are manufactured by means of a four stroke engine. So the fuel, there are different kinds of fuels are used, out of which majority is from the petrol and the diesel. So petrol, you can use as a petrol or a liquefied petroleum gas, and there is another one more thing that is called compressed natural gas. Everything is similar to the petrol, and the diesel is used in the high compression ratio engines. So here the diesel is compressed to a high volume and it is ignited. So this is used in the heavy vehicles. And nowadays the cars they have mostly stopped manufacturing diesel engine because of the pollution and the vibration that cause. So electric and petroleum vehicles are manufactured in the car segments, and the heavy vehicle segment there is no petrol engine. Only the diesel engine is manufactured because they used to have high compression ratio. So these are the components of the engine. You can see on the left hand side the camshaft. The camshaft is a mechanism which is used to operate the inlet and the outlet passage of the engine. So the inlet passage, the fresh air fuel mixture or the air which comes inside only once the valve is opened. So this valve is operated by means of a cam which is located at the top of the engine. And you can see the left hand side that is called the intake valve, on the right hand side that is indicated in the rose color that is called the exhaust valve, and the place where the firing takes place is called the combustion chamber. And in between the cylinder you can see the green color thing, that is nothing but the cooling water. That is the engine is having higher temperature. When it reaches higher temperature, it efficiency gets low. So there will be a passage where the water is always generated, and this water carries out the heat, and it is cooled by means of a radiator. The next is the connecting rod which connects the piston with the crankshaft. So these are the major components which are present in the engine. And you can see the right hand side, the second image, you can see the terminologies of engine. The top dead center is the topmost position of the cylinder or the engine, and the bottom dead center, that is called the bottommost position. The top dead center is called TDC and the bottom dead center is called BDC. And you can see the reciprocating motion. A piston, which is the thing which used to convert that heat energy into a mechanical energy, that is a thermal energy into a mechanical energy. The distance between the stroke and the cylinder head is called the clearance volume. You can see the cylinder wall, and you can see the rotary motion, and in the top you can see there is a spark plug or fuel injector. So the spark plug is used in the petrol engine, and the fuel injector is used in the diesel engine. So the important components you can see one by one in these slides. The first one is the cylinder block. The cylinder block is normally made up of a cast iron, or nowadays in order to reduce weight they are manufactured by means of aluminum alloy. This is much lighter, and the efficiency is improved by reducing the weight. So this type of material is used to increase the strength of the engine. The second component is the piston, which is an always an weightless component, which is manufactured by using aluminum alloy, which has the good thermal conductivity, which means that the property to lose heat is very much important, because always which is the piston is located in the combustion chamber, inside the combustion chamber. The piston head is always facing the heat source. So what happens is it can transfer heat, that aluminum. So aluminum is always used as the piston material. So the aluminum expands when heated, and the proper clearance will be provided to maintain free piston movement in the cylinder. So there will be a clearance maintained in between the piston and the cylinder. So there is a second component. You can see the major components of the piston. Top is called the piston crown, compression ring. There are two compression ring and one oil ring, and there is another thing that is called piston skirt and connecting rod cap, bearings. These are the components of a piston. So this is how the piston is reciprocating, and which is coupled with a crankshaft. This reciprocating motion is always converted into a rotary motion by the action of the connecting rod on the crankshaft. You can see the crankshaft, they are always manufactured by means of a high property or a high strength material, that is a steel, that is a forged steel they use for crankshaft. This main bearing connected to main bearing and the connecting rod bearing liners are made up of a babbitt, a tin, and a lead alloy. So this is how the connecting rod is made up of. The next component is about the camshaft. I already told you in the initial stage, the cam is used to operate the inlet and the outlet passage. So the camshaft is one of the major component. You can see the animation how it is moving. It is like a oval or the egg shape, that eccentric cam which is used to operate the inlet and the exhaust valve. So you can see the components, the cam wheel, cam journal, cam push and camshaft push and sensor. These are the major components of a camshaft. So this is also one of the rotating component inside the engine. So the piston is the only thing which reciprocates. Other than piston, all the components will be in the rotary motion. So that's it about this class, and you should know about the things which are displayed in the screen. So the types of engine, the fuels used in the engine, the major components you should know while you see while you come to this end of this video. That's it about the lecture, and we will meet in the next class. Thank you.